how do you know if your gut's off track?
It would be very easy for me to confidently say that if someone has skin issues, they have gut issues.
Hi, everybody. Daina here, CEO and co-founder of Health-Ade. Really excited for today's Follow Your Gut series. As you guys know, we are on a mission to unlock the power of the gut, really close the gap on the lack of information that people have on its importance. In that spirit, today we're going to be learning all about how the gut affects, that's right, our skin, our hair, our nails, our beauty, how we look on the outside. We probably spend trillions of dollars as a society on products for our skin, but I think you'll hear today that it has a lot more to do with what's on the inside than what's on the outside. Today, I am so excited to have Leona with us.
Thank you for having me.
Leona has been working over the past 15 years helping people regain their health and well-being by focusing on food and focusing on their guts. She is a food is thy medicine type of practitioner. She's a family practitioner and she specializes in integrative nutrition. I will let Leona introduce herself. But before we do that, Leona, I want to ask you a fun icebreaker.
Okay.
If you were going to a barbecue or a party, what would be your signature dish that you bring?
Oh gosh, this is my nerdy reply. It would be something with cherries because we are at the pinnacle of cherry season. And here in Southern California, the majority of the cherries are grown in orchards in an area called the Leona Valley.
I love it.
And I like to go there with my family every year and we pick cherries and then we just make all kinds of things from the cherries. So
amazing. Leona brings something from Leona Valley, obviously, and cherries when they're in season, obviously, because that's when they have more nutrition, right?
Yep, absolutely.
I would have brought Caesar salad no matter if it was spring, summer, fall, winter, morning, night. That's my signature dish. I make a really good dressing and I make the croutons from scratch and they're my favorite.
I like that.
They're always in season, Leona. Okay, so let's dig in. I want to hear about you. So tell us a little bit about your background and how you fell into over 15 years, like not just being an expert in the gut, but also how the gut connects to skin and beauty.
So I am a functional nutritionist. So I'm a clinical nutritionist, also trained in functional medicine. I'm also trained as a culinary nutritionist as well. So really that food as medicine. I'm also trained as an herbalist and health coach and just different areas of specialties that I've also kind of deep dive in, especially the gut, because a nutritionist will find pretty quickly that your main person coming through the door has concerns about their gut. In any kind of integrative or holistic medicine, we really do understand that the gut is truly the root and the center of all health. I was trained in this 15 plus years ago, and you'd be surprised how difficult it was even 8 to 10 years ago to try to tell somebody that the origins of their health really were centered in their gut. But in all of the science that has just truly exploded about the microbiome in the last 10 years, now everybody's, kind of on board. Now we don't seem so crazy in the integrative and functional world.
I completely agree. I went to graduate school, over a decade ago, and I saw firsthand the power of fermented foods. But to me, that sort of connected to the power of the gut. I was surprised to how many people were having issues, to be honest. Young people, old people, all kinds of people that didn't look sick, but were having issues with the gut. So let's start with the science. Like, how is the gut connected to the skin? Because I think a lot of people think the gut is just about digestion.
We actually have a name for it. It's called the gut-skin axis. The gut is an immune organ. 70% of our immune system is in our gut, but our skin is also an immune organ. And there are 100 trillion bacteria, microbiome, that make up the gut. And there's 1 trillion microbiome that makes up the skin, because the skin has its own microbiome. And the gut microbiome and the skin microbiome, they are in communication. So that's the first thing to understand, is that they are absolutely connected. It's a big subject, but when I was thinking about it, I thought, okay, let me break it down in 4 key areas that really will help to illustrate this gut-skin connection to our skin health in terms terms of like acute or even chronic skin conditions, everything from eczema to acne, to also just beauty, skin integrity, aging, because the gut is intimately connected. The first area is maybe the most obvious, which is absorption. You can have an excellent diet, take in all these nutrient-dense foods. What you need is a good working gut, a good digestion in order to take those nutrients from the food, break it down, and begin that absorption. And then ultimately the utilization of those nutrients that are all the nutrients that are great for the skin, B vitamins, C, E, K. There's so many key nutrients that help with skin integrity. And our gut is the first line in order to take those nutrients in from the diet and then send them off into doing their glow on the skin. Now, if the microbiome is impaired or reduced, then absorption of those nutrients is really going to be compromised.
Even just in that one section, eating the right things that are, nutrient dense, but also you've got to have a healthy working gut that then can send those nutrients where they need to go.
Yeah.
Very cool. And obviously the microbiome has something to do with that.
Definitely.
I had a feeling you were going to go there.
So the second way that the skin-gut axis is working together is something called our intestinal lining. We have this lining along our intestines, which is one cell layer, and it's only about 3 millimeters thick, but it needs to be completely sealed. There are these microscopic openings. Kind of think of it as like cheesecloth. And when we are eating and we're in the absorption to utilization process, then those microscopic openings are just big enough for nutrients that has been properly digested and absorbed to then go to where they need to go in the body, get to the skin, get to a heart cell, a skin cell, and make all those great repairs and improvements to the integrity of the body, including the skin. A lot of just kind of the modern world, whether it be over-the-counter medications or prescription medications, stress or processed foods, sugar, alcohol, these components can basically create damage. So that cheesecloth, it's like poking holes in the cheesecloth, and that can create a lot of inflammation. And the inflammation is caused actually by our immune system, because our immune system says, hey, what's that? What's going on over there? That's not supposed to be there. And we almost always see this with eczema, psoriasis, rosacea, and acne. We'll see this leaky gut connection. So by removing those things, the gut barrier has the opportunity to heal. Probiotics, prebiotics, good fatty acids, those things also, not only do they improve the microbiome diversity, which also upticks that absorption of those nutrients, but also helps to close the gap on those junctions that have maybe opened up in the lining and reseal those. When we have a sealed gut and it's not leaky anymore, that inflammation in the gut equals inflammation in the skin. The gut barrier is sealed. The skin barrier is sealed.
That's really awesome. I didn't know that, actually. And thank you for the very down to earth way to describe leaky gut. So the way to tend to that is probiotics, prebiotics, and like omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acids.
Omega-3s and omega-9s
Okay.
from our diet, and also in supplementation. And part of that bringing to number 3.
Okay.
So number 3 is about the fiber, silly. Fiber is so unsexy, but you know what? Prebiotics, this is where we get all that good stuff, because prebiotics is just a fancy word for saying foods that are fiber dense. Most fiber rich plant foods have prebiotics. Now, there are some foods that have more, like asparagus, like dandelion, onions, and garlic, but pretty much any plant food that has considerable fiber is going to be really good prebiotics. And prebiotics lead to probiotics, but prebiotics also make something called short chain fatty acids. And that increases the integrity of the immune system in the gut. And it also improves how the gut manages hormones. So hormones and skin are related. And I think most of us know that. I mean, we even can see that in terms of our cycle. So when we are tending to our gut and eating these prebiotic and probiotic rich foods, and we're driving up short chain fatty acids, and we're improving how we metabolize hormones. And so now all of a sudden that cystic acne not happening anymore. So the fourth one is actually just your your probiotics. We have 100 trillion bacteria. We have about 500 different species of those bacteria. And when we have that rich, diverse gut flora, so how do we do it? When we're eating a variety of foods, when we're eating a variety of prebiotic and probiotic foods, like kombucha. And I'm going to use kombucha as a case study just to give you some, I could do this with any probiotic food, but I thought it would only be appropriate. Okay. So,
we'll take it.
So there are specific bacteria strains that have specific impacts over our skin integrity and how we age. So a lot of kombucha will contain Lactobacillus casei. So that in particular helps with elasticity, skin integrity, and preventing wrinkles. Para-casei helps to manage on the skin. There's this kind of ubiquitous yeast on the skin that is always going to be there, but sometimes there's an overgrowth of it, and that can create all kinds of dermatitis. And the para-casei actually helps to manage your skin microbiome and reappropriate the yeast on your skin. So it basically clears up a lot of yeast-driven dermatitis.
It's funny because kombucha is a yeast. I think people think because it's a yeast, it has yeast in it, that it's going to be bad for people that have yeast overgrowth. But I've always tried to explain that all yeasts are not created equal. And it's all about the balance of those yeasts and bacteria, not about eliminating yeasts entirely. Right?
Exactly. There's so many beneficial, but that particular bacteria, the para-casei, can correct yeast overgrowth along the skin that leads to dermatitis. There's another bacteria strain often in kombucha, rhamnosus, and rhamnosus helps to clear out acne, partially because it also helps to clear away certain types of yeast, but also other things that can relate to acne. And this is where the science is in its infancy, because we're just discovering so much of what these individual bacteria strains do, what their actions are. But I've just given you 3 bacteria strains. One reduces wrinkles, one helps to clear up dermatitis, and another one helps to combat acne. I mean, that's pretty amazing.
So would you agree that just like we say a variety of fruits and vegetables are best, like a variety of fermented foods and probiotic rich foods are best too? Because my guess is if kombucha has those 3, and those are the only 3, we've even discussed today, there may even be more.
Sure.
I would imagine kimchi or sauerkraut has some unique probiotics as well that have different impacts. But when I practice nutrition, I found the more fermented foods, like it was a general thing I found, but the more fermented foods people ate, like the more their stomach issues just sort of slowly dissolved. And it was really impressive to me how powerful fermented foods were actually in that. But I had really no idea the extent to which the gut is connected to the skin. When we talk about glow, when pregnant women have a glow, or when people are just, you just see it. Is it that we're seeing hydration in the skin, or like what is that we're talking about?
There's so many elements to that, and some belong to the gut and some will extend out from there. If you have more availability of the antioxidants that you're taking in, both through the skin, through your diet, through supplementation, then that's going to translate in glow. So again, it all comes down to good absorption, but also if there are toxins in the gut, you have leaky gut, guess what? They come through the skin. So you almost know that there's some kind of toxicity or leaky gut because the skin is going to show. What's in the gut is going to be in the skin. The skin says, hello, this is what's going on in your gut. So when you've got, again, good gut integrity, then there's room for glow, good circulation. But also I would talk about hormone. When you've got good hormone flow, good circulation, then you're going to see that glow come in. But also the way that your collagen, hyaluronic acid, collagen, the elastin kind of holds hydration, and how antioxidants are getting to your skin, how fast your skin is repairing. So gut health also impacts how fast your skin is going to repair. Wow. So if you've got good repair, then you've got good glow. But if everything's slowed down and back up, then you're going to get that dullness or that sallowness.
So that's almost perhaps a sign that your gut is off track. If you've noticed your skin sort of start to deteriorate, right? I mean, I guess that was going to be my next question is, how do you know if your gut's off track? There's the obvious ways maybe. Let's touch on those. But as it relates especially to your skin,
it would be very easy for me to confidently say that if someone has skin issues, they have gut issues. Now, not everybody that has gut issues has skin issues. but everybody that has skin issues has gut issues. So that's an easy one. As far as aging, aging that happens from 40 to 60, we have a tremendous amount of control through diet and lifestyle. What's happening from 40 to 60, the signs of collagen loss are starting to show. So we lose 10% of our collagen every 10 years, once we've kind of gotten to an adulthood. So it's usually around 35 to 40 that we might start seeing small signs of that collagen loss. It's absolutely true that we should put a tremendous amount of attention on collagen, on preserving collagen. So maybe, there's probably more, but this off the top of my head, I'm thinking about like 3 main ways we support collagen. One of them is vitamin C. It absolutely deserves all of the attention. Vitamin C is a collagen producer. So you want to eat foods rich in vitamin C. You want to take vitamin C internally as a supplement, and you always want to have vitamin C in your skincare. That's number one. Topically, you should be doing a vitamin C serum every single day, because it cannot be overemphasized.
Okay, I love it. How much should we be supplementing with vitamin C? How much should we be supplementing? Is it 500 milligrams, 1 gram? Because the recommended daily amount is like tiny.
Every person is different. So, but I would say a good kind of therapeutic dose, which will probably be good for most people, where, although some people might go lower or higher, would be 1,000 milligrams a day. And then the other collagen like supplement piece is definitely to supplement with collagen, but 2 kind of like biohacks to really optimize it is first, use marine collagen. I'm really surprised how popular collagen is, but how very small percentage of people are actually using marine collagen. They're using bovine. Collagen from wild fish or marine sources molecularly is smaller than bovine collagen. And so it's better absorbed. Now here's like this double down effect. So collagen is also rich in glycine and proline and glutamine, which is also great for the gut barrier. So every time you take marine collagen, you're taking collagen that has all these amino acids that are helping to really support and heal and seal that gut barrier, which is going to lead to beauty. And then the collagen itself is going to translate into your skin integrity, keeping your own collagen, keeping your collagen building, hydrated. And so you got this kind of double gut skin support whenever you're taking collagen.
Awesome. Well, I'm happy to say that. I'm personally happy. I'm taking 1 gram of vitamin C a day, but I need to take my collagen. And, I have a friend who started a collagen company, and he said that one of the constant sort of customer feedback they get, not expected, because they're selling it as like a beauty thing, is that people report, unexpectedly, like really good, solid, regular bowel movement. Yeah. So it must be that that's what you're talking about.
Well, it's 100%.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I feel good about collagen, vitamin C. I get you got to take them together, especially when you're 40 to 60, which is right where I'm approaching. This is my last year in my 30s for everybody who cares. But I imagine even before it's helpful as well, because we're all...
Oh, for sure. When we see the signs of aging, I'm not saying it's entirely, but it is largely connected to collagen. So the third one would be, again, supporting and preserving the nutrients that also work with collagen, even something like keratin. I know that we often associate keratin with the hair, and keratin does keep the hair strong and firm, but keratin also keeps the skin strong and firm. And so when we have poor gut microbiome or leaky gut, we don't preserve keratin very well. So again, the vitamin K, the Bs, the keratin, all these things that we are utilizing in the gut, maybe even partially producing in the gut, we need to harness all of those nutrients and antioxidants that go in and secondarily help to keep the face, the skin firm, help to lock in hydration, moisture, help to calm and mediate inflammation, and also mediate the immune system so it doesn't also create any type of inflammatory reactions that can reach the skin.
So it's all interconnected.
It's all interconnected, yeah.
Okay, so you mentioned vitamin C serum on the skin. That prompted me to think, like, how important is it what we put on our skin versus what we put in our body? Like, are you thinking it's 50-50? I mean, I guess I'm just curious.
There's no really like scientific proof of what that percentage is, but where I think the average person might be thinking skin is, 90% topical and 10% internal. I would bet on saying it's probably about 80% what we put in and then 20% of what we put on, the good and the bad. I'd like to try to focus on the good, but it's also important to understand what can be compromised in the skin. Sugar increases glycation. Glycation is like basically snipping away the elastin and collagen in the skin. And so with sugar, we really are damaging and speeding up aging on par with the sun damage. And we're all trained at understanding how sun can increase the aging process of the skin, but sugar is on par. So again, what we take in that can speed up aging and what we can take in that can actually slow down the aging process.
And just on that sugar comment, is it all sugar, like even sugar from fruit, or are you talking cane sugar, refined sugar?
I'm talking refined sugar. I'm talking whatever increases glycation. So it's got to have a high glycemic impact.
You're talking about the junk.
Yeah.
Not like an apple or something like that.
No. Oh my gosh. The apple has so many nutrients in there that are key for the skin. It's got the water, because ultimately we get water from food. If I, I got my glass of water here. So I got a full glass. I don't know if you can see it. When I drink this, I'm only going to actually absorb maybe about this much. But if I eat an apple, I'm going to get 98% of the water from that apple, because the little bit of natural glucose, so the sugar, actually helps to kind of transport the water more into the cells. So
it's pretty incredible what nature delivers to us. I did a graduate school thing on what we absorb from supplements versus food. And it was like crazy astounding to me how much we absorb from food, because it's like perfectly arranged with all the things that it needs for you to digest it. It's like incredible. Even just
it really is.
The orange, like it may have half the vitamin C of what you're taking every day, but you'll get it all. And anyway, it really blew me away. It blew me away.
I'm constantly fascinated and excited by food. It's truly amazing.
Leona, everything you've said today has been so informative. What are some tips on how we can get our gut back on track, on how we can get our skin to be as awesome as possible?
It's really important to listen to those small signs that the body gives. So some of the small signs actually are skin issues, maybe mild gut issues that people just kind of manage, lower energy, and headaches. I feel like those are the 4 symptoms that are kind of the first round that the body talks in to tell you that there's something out of balance. And when people are just kind of go, they'll just try to manage it or take a pill for it. That's your opportunity to stop and listen and start to think about making certain changes. So it's always great when someone comes in with one of those concerns, because they're listening. Then, of course, I have people come in who are in debilitating pain, whether it's in their GI or their joints, or they've been diagnosed with multiple autoimmune conditions. And I know, going through their history, they were getting those signs earlier. So one thing I would just impart for our overall health is to allow yourself to listen and communicate with the body when it's talking in those more like those whispers. Those are important.
Yeah. Like I'm tired when I really shouldn't be, right? Or my skin is starting to like repeatedly flare up in these different ways.
Right. It's not going to stop you from living your daily life. So it's easy to kind of push aside, but that's the opportunity, because things are in those first stages of imbalance. So if you can put some attention, and most people know some of the immediate things they could do, we just sometimes don't do them. And then of course, there's always reaching out with professional practitioners who can, work with you specifically. So I would say that most things with health, when we're talking about like immediate takeaways, the good thing about health, although there are a lot of complicated things and a lot of like very specific things in the functional medicine world, nutrition world that we do that maybe the average person doesn't know about. The main foundation of health is always basic. Getting enough hydration, which would be 60 to 90 ounces of water a day. Getting enough sleep, which would be at least 7.5 hours. Checking in with your stress levels, 0 to 10. Is your stress a 6 or higher? Then it's definitely affecting your skin. It's definitely affecting your gut. Every time we're under any significant stress, that cheesecloth, that gut lining, they loosen up and they become lax. And in the same respect, your skin can become lax. Really checking in about stress. And one thing that I like to do in my practice, I think there's so much, stress does this and stress does that. And people are stressed about being stressed, And then they try to do things like meditate and they're just so wound up. And I think one of the best antidotes to stress is fun and joy. You can get to the point of meditation and breathing practices, but it doesn't have to be complicated. Just taking a moment just to take a breath and taking a moment to do something fun. Fun releases chemicals that are anti-inflammatory, that close up those junctions, that bring circulation and literally that glow to your face. So the best way to counter stress is to have fun.
Well, that's the thing. You don't even have to think about it. You know what is fun for you.
Right. When it comes to managing stress, start there.
I love that message, Leona. That is so cool. I mean, and anybody who goes on vacation and like has a really good time. No,
vacation glow.
Yeah, they've got a glow. And it's like, because you had fun. It's not, you didn't take your vitamins. You didn't do all the things you probably were supposed to even, but you came back like healthier than ever. Love that message. Totally love that one. Wow. Yes. Just have fun. That's an easy one.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. So much to take home. I learned a lot today. Awesome. I think our viewers are going to be really, really excited. Where can they follow you? Like, you have just a wealth of information.
Well, they can go to leonawest.com, my website, and then all my social media is on there. I'm on Instagram, probably the most, Leona West Fox _ nutritionist. And then I also do a show. It's a weekly show called The Well. And it's 4 or 5 different practitioners, like a naturopath, a medical doctor, a therapist, and a Chinese medicine herbalist. And we all talk about different health topics from our different perspectives. And that's called The Well. And you can get that on YouTube.
Well, Leona, everybody that I have on this show, I ask the same question at the very end. And it is, what does follow your gut mean to you?
It kind of means everything. I think with all these diet trends over the last 5 to 10 years, and people kind of moving to like, they have to be in a very specific type of diet and avoid certain foods. And I think it has moved people away to just listening to their body of what works and what doesn't. And so following your gut is really listening to your body, what I would call being a listenitarian, checking in on, am I having some symptoms? What am I feeling? Whether it's just in general or around different food. As a teenager, I got really sick. I had probably some things brewing, and then I got mono like a lot of teenagers do, but I just wasn't getting better. And then just a whole host of issues just started to just pile on. I was diagnosed with IBS, with chronic fatigue syndrome, with fibromyalgia. I had really bad acne, irregular periods, PCOS. I had a cyst the size of a grapefruit. And I was given birth control and painkillers and antidepressants from doctors as a solution. And I was just a teenager, but something didn't feel right. Mm-hmm. And it was the first time I can recall listening to my gut, following my gut. Mm. And I thought, there's got to be something else. And I looked around at the obvious and I thought, well, my diet sucks. So maybe there's something to food. And I also noticed that on days where I was happier, my pain was less. I was an incredible amount of pain. I had really intense fibromyalgia pain. And I noticed that when something was unexpected, when there was novelty or fun or happiness, that my pain was less. And so as a teenager, I was like, well, that's kind of interesting. So I looked at the mind-body emotion connection and I followed my gut, and it changed everything. It changed my whole life. And as I started to make changes in my diet and in my mindset, and I started to employ these different foods and herbs, the cyst shrank, even though they wanted to rush me to surgery. No more surgery needed because it was gone. The acne cleared, the 40 pounds went away, the pain went away, all of these things one by one after a year and a half of nothing happening. By changing my diet, changing my lifestyle, and putting into play these mind-body practices. I really believe in what I do truly because it changed my life personally. And then I didn't realize it at the time, but it set me on my path professionally too.
Yeah, that's so cool. That's
so definitely cool. Followed my gut.
Wow, Leona, there couldn't have been a better answer. Thank you so much It means a lot to me too. That's why I've picked it for our tagline. It's really, it feels like my mission in life to inspire people to do that. I couldn't agree more. We listen too much to the outside and not enough to the inside. We know already inside what's best for us. We just have to listen. So nice speaking with you today, Leona. We'll all be following you on Instagram, and I will definitely watch that Well show. That seems really cool.
Thank you, Daina. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Have a good one.
Thanks. You too.